This is the Stockwell Eldridge Show, giving you the real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Dawn Eldridge.
Good morning, Twin Cities. I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results. Thanks for tuning in. We've got this fabulous Sparkles with us today, too.
Good morning, Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. Jason is on his way, so again, the ladies are taking over the studio here today.
Jason's going to be the only guy in the house today, besides Barry, of course.
Yeah, so. Our cameraman Barry over there, and we got Josh in the control room.
That's right.
All right, so good. Well, great. We're into May.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
So and first quarter of the year. So what's I know we were just talking earlier. You got a market update.
Yeah.
I always look forward to the numbers. And so I was gone last week.
I know we missed you.
I'm curious to see. I know I wanted to listen to hear the economic update. You had Ed on.
Yeah.
The everyday economist.
He was great.
And good. Got some great information
that was fun.
About anything that we need to be prepared about or concerned about or.
No, he seems to think that things are going to be good for a couple of years. So, and. We had a lot of guests on, so he actually didn't get to talk a whole lot. It was interesting because the last time he was on, he talked much more.
Right.
So, but nationally, we are at an all-time high for sales in 10 years.
Really?
Yes. I think that's
excellent.
Incredible. And we're still seeing multiple offers within a few days if the house is priced right. Mm-hmm. I'm also seeing if the house is overpriced, buyers aren't even making an offer. They're just kind of sitting and watching and seeing what happens.
Right. Well, and I know we've talked about it, and unfortunately we've had a couple of situations this week where customers came, they're pre-approved, and they went to go make an offer on the house, went and did the appraisal, they overbid on that house, and then the appraisal came back lower than, because, they're negotiating and thinking that, well, if I just pay the most, the sellers are going to want to take the highest offer. Well, that's not always the case because it's got to, the house is only worth what, the appraisal and the data and the houses in the area. So I think it's important, when you're working with your realtors and you're building, over that you really know. You're bidding over, is it really going to appraise for that amount?
Right. Well, and as a listing agent, I think that you have a responsibility to talk to that seller about that too. Like, hey, you know what? I don't think you're going to appraise at that price, which I've had those conversations with some of my sellers, and it's not a fun one, but if it doesn't appraise, the bank is not going to finance it unless that buyer has the cash on the side to come forward with it. And some buyers do.
Right. And which sometimes people still don't understand that. We try to make it very clear to them that we are going to base your loan off of the appraised value. So if you want to bid, if the house is $300,000 and you bid $320,000, and that appraisal comes in at $300,000, you're responsible for that other $20,000. The bank will not lend you that money over the appraised value. So it's a matter of, we've had people say, well, I don't have the additional funds to pay. The seller wasn't in a position where they could lower their price. And so then it was a dead deal. So really good things to be talking to your realtors about and your loan officer.
Yeah.
Maybe, can you go higher on a loan amount or something like that?
Well, and I would assume that you're seeing that a lot more, because so many homes are going into multiple offers in lower price points.
Right, and appraisers are being a little bit more conservative.
They are.
And probably a good thing Jason isn't here because that's a heated subject. Heated subject with him. But I think, the appraisers, and people, and rightfully so, because years ago, appraisers, values were going crazy, and now people are stuck. That's how we end up kind of in a lot of situation. It wasn't just appraisers. They're very knowledgeable, educated, and a lot of work goes into what they're doing. But right now, I don't blame them. They're probably being a little bit more conservative because, their job, their career, their license is on the line.
Yep.
So there's no benefit for them to try to push it to accommodate a seller or buyer or anything like that.
Right.
They're going to go strictly off of the facts. And the data is there. There's plenty of home sales, like you said.
Yep.
Gosh, how many home sales have we had in the Twin Cities? What was I thought?
So pending sales decreased. So we had 1,374 pending sales for the week ending of April 15th. So the stats aren't, we kind of need some time to pull them together.
Right.
And that's in the Twin Cities. It's not all of Minnesota. So it's down 6.7% from this time last year. And new listings, so inventory, decreased 17.8% from this time last year. And we've got 1,612 new listings.
Okay, so total, I remember, what's the number now? Are we in the tens yet of listings in the Twin Cities?
We are.
Woo,
So,
that's
I
great.
know.
Because what was it, a couple months ago? So I said every week I look forward to
It's
the
like
number.
8,000,
We were like in the 7,000, 8,000. And
Yes.
so where are we now for listings? What's the
We
number?
are at 10,574.
That's great. So good. Our listeners are listening. People
Yeah.
are putting their homes on the market, getting ready to move and realizing. And again, speaking from the lending perspective, we've got a lot of customers coming in and getting pre-approved. And if you are thinking about it, again, it's a great time. There's so many opportunities. Rates are still fantastic. We've got great first-time buyer programs, low down payment assistance, our jumbo products. And if you're in that market, our pricing, we've got a 38% market share in that market.
Right.
So whatever you're looking for.
The other cool thing that I can share is that the percent of original list price received increased from this time last year, 1.3%. So sellers are getting, if the house is priced right, 98.1% of that asking price.
Right.
That's incredible.
Is that typically a high number? I mean, for somebody who
Yes.
doesn't know, that's
Usually it's within 3 to 5%.
okay.
And obviously, if it's a buyer's market, it's going to be totally
Right.
on the other side.
So here, that
So-
sellers, 98% of the time, they are getting the price that they are asked, that they have it listed for and asking for.
If it's priced right. So some
Right.
sellers are still choosing to come in high,
Right.
just to test the market. And buyers shouldn't be scared to make an offer on a property, even if it's new to the market, if it's on the higher side, because sellers, I think, are still going to be open to looking at it.
Well, and it's the same thing too. Like I said, we tell all of our customers, pre-approve, talk with your lender, and find out, what you can qualify. A lot of people, have conversations. People say, I don't want to spend that much money. I don't want to have a payment over this. But then they get out looking at properties and they realize, okay, this is not going to work for us. They might start out in the 250 range, but maybe the homes in the 270 price range are more beneficial for them. So talk to your lender. A lot of times we can take a look at options for you. There's different rate options, mortgage insurance options, down payment options. Just really, we want to help you. I mean, that's how we get to, be the largest lender, because we have options available. We want to put people in homes. That's, part of our plan and
Yeah.
what we do as a company at Wells Fargo is to help people, have home ownership. So
Yeah. And that's
great.
That's your agent's goal as well. Get you into a home, one that you like, not one that you don't like. I have yet to force someone to buy a house they didn't want, so that's good.
Well, and I'm sure you find sometimes too that, we've had people where they lose out and they're so disenchanted and
Yes.
so, shoot, that was it. And then next thing you know, a week or 2 weeks later, a house comes in the market and they're just ecstatic because it's way better than the other house that they lost out on and
It's so
everything
true.
like that. So I think a
So-
lot of that, is true.
Yeah, well, we have buyers that Tim is handling.
Right.
And they lost out on 2 homes. And I sent them a note and I said, listen, don't give up. When a door shuts, another door always opens. And we got them into a pre-list property, never on the market, and they are ecstatic. It
Right.
is the perfect house for them, too.
Yeah, I think I was hearing about that,
Yeah.
right? So it was a list, and so you were their buyer, and then you had a listing coming on the market, and it just happened to work out that
Yep.
these
Jason's
new
listing, yep.
buyers found a listing that you were just about to put on the market. But so yeah, so that's great. Kind of probably kudos to you guys why you want to work with an experienced real estate team that has that kind of inside information or working with a lot of clients and those opportunities. So
Yeah. Well, and also, Tim had them fully approved, so they had a foot up over anyone else. And there were other people very interested in the pre-list. Mm-hmm. But these guys got it.
Well,
which
and
is
that
great.
brings up a good point too. If you've got some time, a lot of times we will have our pre-approvals actually go through a full underwriting process. So
Yep.
if your lender says, "Hey, get me all those W-2s and pay stubs, all that kind of stuff," why not? That's just, again, like you said, going to give you that full advantage, because if we need typically it's 30 days to close a loan. That's what you should expect from the time we get all the income documents, order the title work, the appraisal, homeowners insurance, get everything set up. 30 days is a really realistic time. But sometimes people are in certain situations, sellers, they need to move, relocation, schools, jobs, family, whatever it may be. And so when you're getting pre-approved, talk to your lender. At Wells Fargo, we're more than happy to actually have an underwriter physically look at your file, give you that seal of approval. So then we only need miscellaneous documents, maybe the purchase agreement, appraisal, and title, and we're ready to go.
Yep.
So that can make all the difference in the world. You could have a 20-day turn time versus 30 or 45 days or
Which
something
is
like that.
huge.
So,
It puts buyers in such a better position.
Right.
Plus, I think it relieves some anxiety for the buyers because they know that they're good to go.
Right.
I think there's a lot of anxiety that goes along with buying a house, especially for first-time home buyers. There's a lot
absolutely.
of
Well, most
unanswered
people, even if they're
questions.
second and third time buyers, it's not like they did it. Most
Right.
people are doing it every 2 years, and things change so frequently. So,
Well, I get nervous, and I'm a realtor when I buy my
Right.
own house, which is why I'm never
I always
selling
tell
my
people
house.
when I bought, it was my second home. I was thrown up in the parking lot, going to the closing of my second home. It was just, it was kind of a stressful process, and extra documentation because I had rental property and I was a commission salesperson, and a lot of moving pieces and so forth. So we feel for you. I mean, even as loan officers and lenders and realtors, we go through that, and we're right there in the trenches with you.
Oh,
So,
yeah. We are not immune to all of the anxiety that buyers and sellers feel.
Right.
Because we want the best for our clients.
Right.
And when things don't go the best, it's very...
Right, and we're invested. It takes a lot of time for us to go through it. I mean, the pre-approval process, we got to ask questions. I mean, it's a good hour-long interview, so to speak, when you're getting pre-approved for a house. So it is really important to, we're engaged with those customers and we're pulling for you. So, we've got Lisa Horn here. She's the CEO of Veep. And so we'll probably talk to you here a little bit, but do you want to just kind of introduce yourself? You've been so quiet over here, Lisa. I feel like you're more than welcome to chime in on our conversation and so forth. But
thanks for having me.
yeah, you bet. Welcome.
Well,
do you want
thanks
to
for
tell
coming.
us? Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself or the organization, and we can talk more in the next segment.
Sure. I am the CEO of Veep, which stands for Volunteers Enlisted to Assist People. And we are located in Bloomington. We are a nonprofit basic needs social service organization with a service area of Richfield, Bloomington, Edina, and South Minneapolis, so south of 50th and west of Cedar, so in that little corner of Minneapolis. And we help families and individuals who are experiencing financial instability, who are in crisis, and maybe just need some extra supports to get by.
Well, and that's so important nowadays. I mean, you hear about it more and more with families. I mean, we talk about it on our end, all the exciting of people moving and so forth, but we also know that there can be the downside of, dynamics changing in a family and so forth. So, and what cities did you say you primarily focus on?
We are Richfield, Bloomington, Edina, and South Minneapolis.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Lisa Horn with Veep. And again, I love that CEO. I love it. We always say that we have all these
that's so
powerful,
cool.
strong,
Yes.
smart, usually smarter than us people on our show. So it's great to have you. And we'll hear more about Veep in our next segment. So stay tuned. I'm Stephanie with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage.
Dawn Eldridge, Remax Results.